Welcome everyone to On the Gel Success Series. I'm Diamond Ambassador Lisa Vivori. This is and we're tonight going to be discussing Somaderm Gel, HGH Gel from New You Life. And tonight we kind of cover a different topic every week that may be of interest to different demographics. And tonight, our Diamond Ambassador Brian Mira is going to really actually host this event. And we're so lucky to have him on board. He's got a real estate background. I'm going to ask you to tell a little bit about your background. Please, everybody, definitely introduce yourselves, talk a little bit about who you are and your backgrounds before we get rolling, because we have a very powerful panel tonight to talk about the gel, the brain, and mindset. And I think this is going to be fascinating. We have a couple of brain experts and a couple of mindset experts here, and it should be a lot of fun. On that note, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys start to introduce yourselves. Melissa, let's start with you. We have Dr. Melissa Grill-Peterson. She is a life coach with us, with New You Life. Congratulations on that. Never has done any network marketing before, but she has an amazing medical background that I'm not even going to be able to touch. So I'm going to let you do that, Melissa. Can you introduce yourself, please, and tell people a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Sure. Thank you, Lisa. It's great to be here on the Gel Success Series. And everybody, I'm Dr. Melissa Grill-Peterson. For more than 20 years, I've been helping purpose-driven visionaries step into the ring and say yes to creating success in their health, their business, and their life. I am a doctor of chiropractic, board certified in holistic health, and a former wrestling personality. Hence, we're going to get in the ring. We're going to go head to head. We're going to create some really great wins. And I'm completely new to network marketing. Have never done it, stayed as far away from it as possible for as long as I could. And I was sucked into this, and it's been an incredible, fun ride ever since. So I know physiology, I know brain, I know body, I know health, I know stress optimization, and I know success principles, mindset, and what it really takes to truly win, both literally, right, in the ring with the belt, and figuratively. So we're excited for a great, great, great night tonight. So thanks for having me.
Super glad you're here. That's like I said, you're a rock star, and there's even more to say, I happen to know, but that's a great start. Next, let's go to Diamond Ambassador Danielle Rich, who we enjoy your training all the time on mindset and this industry. We have all here, I would say, learned so much from you, Danielle. Please tell us about your background and yourself.
Thanks for having me. First of all, Dr. Peterson, you are a badass. I love being surrounded by women who kick butt and just take life and run with it. And that's something that I learned probably in my 30s, that I could change my entire life if I changed my mind. And I learned to forgive, and I learned how to renew my mind and my thought life. So I've done a lot of studying in the last 13 years. I'll be 44 this week, and I am blown away by how my life has radically changed just in the last 10 years alone, just from my mindset, pretty much my journey on learning the neuropsychology and all of the neuroscience behind thought, and also learning that I could think myself well, I could think myself into success, and I learned that you don't have to sweat it. So I am a licensed realtor in the state of Connecticut. I own 3 companies, all small businesses that have been successful for 13 plus years. I also own a gel business that has been thriving on a year in this company on December 17th of this year. And it has radically changed not just my physical health and the physical health of people around me, but it's changed my finances. It's grown into a 7-figure income. So I'm very, very blessed. It's weird to have to edify myself. I usually let other people do that. But I really feel very grateful to be here tonight, share some of what I've learned, and also help pull other people into what we're doing, because really we want to attract in people who are looking for a change, looking for renewal, rejuvenation, both body, mind, and spirit. And I could not be more excited about the journey that we're all on together. And this is awesome. So thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being here. I want to jump to Dr. Stephanie Rimka and have her, because she's going to actually introduce also a lot of the physiology part of this. Stephanie, please do tell us about yourself. Give us your medical background and your specialty with the brain, and a little bit about you. Stephanie, by the way, is also new to network marketing, hit coach in 6 weeks, and is inches from being a life coach, and it's killing her. 11 weeks in, never done this before, you guys, with a practice and a move and a sick kid. So, I mean, she's like, we've got a panel of rock stars for sure. But go ahead, Stephanie, please tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us, give us the number.
Yeah, I'm not sure I can do it as succinct, as fancy as Dr. Peterson or Danielle, but so I've been in private practice for about 20 years. I started off in the mental health field. My specialty is mental health, drug addiction, autism, learning disabilities. And it led me to study the brain. And I specialize in changing the structure and function of the brain and something we call neuromodulation. I use anything and everything. I hack it any way I can. I use anything. I will do whatever I have to do to help somebody's brain recover. And so obviously mindset goes, I love the topic of the two of these tonight, talking about mindset, because there comes a point with people, if they have real brain damage, if I'm looking at traumatic brain injury or a stroke or something like that, or a real biochemical disorder, you can't exactly chant or mantra your way out of that, right? So the fact that I can couple things to help make that mindset piece work, because I'd rather have people flowing with the current of the stream and making it much easier for themselves by aligning their anatomy and their physiology and their biochemistry to work with the mindset versus them pushing against that stream. So I'm coming at it from a very kind of clinical aspect of how can I optimize someone's brain structure and function to make them have the most success in life, and make their journey towards changing their mindset easier for them, to make learning accessible for them, so they aren't fighting against the current as much. So I'm a doctor of chiropractic, and I'm board certified in neurofeedback. I do brain changes with neurofeedback, biofeedback, using magnets, lights, electricity, DC current, all kinds of crazy stuff a lot of people have never heard about. I'm into what's called kind of biohacking all over the place. I do functional medicine testing for a very long time with a specialization in brain optimization and mental health.
Great, thank you. And that is why it's going to be really fun to have that physiology piece on the brain and recovering when we start talking about the gel. I know that's a huge passion for you, and I'm going to now pass the baton over to Brian Meir. Please go ahead and introduce yourself and take it from here.
So my background real quick is I've been a neurosurgeon for the last 12 years, and I'm kidding, right? I'm not. I've been in real estate investing, agent, educator, created a course, very successful course, #1 selling course on short sales, launched me into the nationwide coaching and mentoring program. I've traveled the country, spoken on stages everywhere, and that's been my background. So I've never done a direct sales networking type business before. And so when this was presented to me through a very close family friend, I thought I would, really look into it more so for the product. And in those 5 weeks, I started the product on December 27th. I started marketing on February the 6th. So what happened in those 5 weeks is I started getting the results of the product. And so the topic tonight for me, it's really funny because my greatest testimonial and what I think was so cool for me is what I would explain to people as, you ever see the movie Limitless? And, that's a little extreme, of course, but at the end of the day, having this mental clarity, just where things are just firing faster. And I've never been a slow person by any means, but I find that my thoughts are just connecting faster. And sometimes I'm thinking faster than I can speak, if that makes sense. And it's this clarity, it's this mental clarity. And unlike caffeine, unlike if you had a bunch of espressos, it's not like that. It's just a different mental clarity. And I've never really experienced that. I've never experienced that before. So I was very excited to kind of run and help you host this call tonight by bringing on these three people because of their backgrounds, because of their business backgrounds, because of their, experiences with the gel. So this is definitely not about me, but I just wanted to take a second to explain my background and what I've experienced, particular to this topic, right? So I guess, what we're going to do is, I know we want to keep this short tonight, guys. So, you did your background and explained who you are, but now let's get into the product. Let's get into, with your particular background, even Danielle with yours in real estate and mortgages and everything you've done, what would you like to share with the audience? Because this is being recorded. There's a lot of people that are going to see this, and remember the topic. It's specifically on the product and what it's doing physically for the mind, the brain, if you will. And if you can tie that into a mindset and something you'd like to share with the listeners, I think that would be great. So let's see. Stephanie, the floor is yours. Talk to us.
Oh, the floor is mine. Okay. Gosh, well, the gel, kind of like you, it was one of these things I wanted to wait and see what it did on my body. And once I experienced it, I was so blown away. And people are kind of taken back by the whole weight loss aspect of I did a video about it, and it kind of took off and people were really into that. But ultimately, something I didn't share as much was what you said, what it did to my mind, what it did to my ability of my brain to kind of get back to this super focused, attenuated way of being with such peace, within my whole system, and allowed wisdom to kind of come through me in a different way, which is kind of back to where we are in a less aroused, less stressed out state. So it kind of depends on where you want me to go with this, because there's multiple ways I can explain physiologically as to why that's happening. I know, and Dr. Peterson, can chime in, but there's so many ways this product is doing that with actual brain chemistry changes, with stress hormone changes, and allowing for better thinking, better brain repair, and actually facilitating and enhancing neurogenesis, which is the growth of new brain cells.
Yes, that's the key. If you could really focus on that, I think a lot of people, they are experiencing the same thing, but nobody knows why, medically speaking. Nobody knows why is my mood elevated? Why am I connecting these thoughts faster? So there's science behind it. There's a reason physically, and if you guys, specifically you and Melissa, can help explain that, I think that'd be very helpful.
Okay. And again, there's a number of reasons. This product, this is why, again, I'm so blown away by it, because it's not just HGH. It's not just HPA axis support. It's not just botanicals. It's not just homeopathy. The dude has done some magic in this where it's quite mind-blowing. I mean, I can't wait to kiss the man, because I just can't. So many people have messaged me thinking I developed it because I do so many videos on it. I'm like, I wish I had this genius to have come up with this thing. So I'll just talk about one topic, and then maybe Melissa will pop in, and there's so much we can say about it. So again, because I specialize in the brain, I do brain imaging. I talk with people all the time. I look at their brains. I see what's going on. I look at the structure, and I look at the function. A big thing that people come in and deal with, which is something that people are not knowing. I'm in my mid-40s. When I went to school, I was not taught that an adult makes new brain cells. So unless a practicing doctor, chiropractor, physician, acupuncturist, I don't care, goes on with continuing education, they're not going to know that an adult brain is constantly making new brain cells. We were taught you make it up to a certain point, by 30, you're just going downhill and forget about it. Neurons are dying and dying and dying, and you're going to get worse and worse and worse. And learning and memory are going to keep declining. That is absolutely not true. We know we're making new brain cells every day. It's called neurogenesis. There are things we can do to increase neurogenesis, and there are things we can do to decrease neurogenesis. One of the most profound things in decreasing neurogenesis is high cortisol, which comes from stress, okay? This formula has something to address that. I might let Dr. Peterson talk about that one. Something that increases neurogenesis is human growth hormone. All right. So just one part of the brain alone, where everyone is worried about memory. Neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, dementia are off the charts now. Right. So the part of the brain that's dealing with the big part of memory and learning is called the hippocampus. The hippocampus alone is going to make about 700 new neurons every single day. That might not sound like a lot, but in terms of every single day what you're supposed to be doing, it's a lot. And when human growth hormone goes up, you're making more of those neurons. When cortisol goes up, you're making less. That factor alone and what this formula does in terms of memory, learning, concentration, emotional mood stability, the hippocampus controls all of that. just by bringing cortisol down with the HPA axis, glandulars and what's going on, how it's addressing that, and just by bringing growth hormone up, are you kidding me? What this is doing to a hippocampal area in a brain is obscene. It's amazing. I have to do so much stuff with, magnetics, biofeedback, transcranial stim, supplementation normally to get into that hippocampus and cause this to be happening. I can only talk my patients into doing these home therapies. I go over breathing. I go over meditation. I go over yoga. I did this all day today. I've been on Zoom with patients all day. I talk about all this stuff. And I want them to do it. But boy, let me tell you how I can keep them compliant by rubbing some gel on their wrists. So that's just one aspect of what it's doing.
Okay.
I can go on, or I can let Dr. Peterson talk.
Why don't we do that? We'll hop over to Dr. Peterson. I think it's really interesting that you say that because, at least for the last, this year, 2018, this has been a big, topic of my own personal research and reading about growth hormone and somatropin and all these different things, which I frankly never really cared too much about in the past. Of course, 6 years ago when my son went on it for being premature, he was born 6 weeks premature, being a triplet, and he wasn't growing. So we went and took him to the Children's Hospital and they did all the testing. And he just wasn't producing enough. So I had a fear as a father of, doesn't it, if it makes everything grow, it'll make cancer grow. And a lot of the things I hear now with the gel. And, interestingly enough, that's not true and it's never been proven true. But I guess it's interesting that you said that because I've actually read where they're testing growth hormone, and looking to, and they're getting positive results, overseas, of course, with everything from Alzheimer's, right? And all these different mental breakdowns and dementia. And it's showing very, favorable positive results. Unfortunately, a lot of that research is not being done in this country, but, whether it's in Asia and different parts of Europe, which I think it's really fascinating. So it's really cool that you say that.
And here's where I'm at, Brian, you don't even need, to me, sometimes I get everybody wants research.
Yeah.
Anatomy and physiology has already been established. You already know what stuff does. I don't need a multi-million-dollar research to tell me McDonald's fast food is bad for a human being. I understand anatomy and physiology. I know what that's going to do. Like certain things, I know what growth hormone is going to do. I know what's stimulating the thyroid or adrenal. I understand what it's going to do. Everybody who understands anatomy and physiology, who's trained in it, we already know if it's going to help or get. You don't necessarily. By the time a study is done, it's been too late and you've missed 5, 10, 20 years in the marketplace of saving people's lives.
Got it. I agree. I agree. Dr. Peterson, would you like to chime in?
Absolutely. I think that, and Stephanie and I go way back, Dr. Stephanie, she's brilliant, as you all are hearing. And I think what's important, because many of us are on different legs of the spectrum, and meaning as distributors and or as potential clients. Some of us are coming in saying, I'm really thinking I want to use this. Can this help me? Some of us are distributors that are realtors or, attorneys or stay-at-home moms, and we don't have a degree in anatomy and physiology. We don't understand. We see the testimonials. We understand this stuff's working. Yet, people on my team who are not in the medical field are like, but I'm not a doctor, Melissa. I don't know how to talk about this like you're talking about it. So I think one of the things I want to help to explain tonight is, while Dr. Stephanie has just helped us to understand a larger clinical picture, is I want to break it down a little bit more simplistically so we can all kind of wrap our heads around this. And she teed it up for me so perfectly that, we are all living, whether we want to admit it or not, we are living in 24/7 chronic stress. We are in a condition that is referred to as sympathetic dominance, meaning our fight or flight response, primitive brain response, the fundamental, I got to keep you alive because there could be imminent danger. The most primal function in the body is to keep us all alive. And if the brain perceives a threat to our survival, it goes into fight or flight. Well, it doesn't know the difference between an overloaded email inbox, too many to-dos, somebody just got laid off, I've got to take on 3 more responsibilities at work, I'm missing out on my kid's life, more bills are coming in, all that stuff, right, that happens every day in our life. The brain doesn't understand the difference between that or a saber-toothed tiger. And then you add in this stuff, right, and we are constantly on it. And there is so much that is overstimulating our sympathetic nervous system and our brains that we are out of balance. And there are two main systems in our body governed by what is called the autonomic nervous system, our sympathetic and our parasympathetic. Fight or flight, keep us alive, keep us away from danger, or rest and digest and heal and repair. Here's the interesting thing that many of us don't know is that it's all or none. You're either on or you're off. Okay, so when you are in sympathetic dominance, when you are in fight or flight, you're constantly overloaded. You're not resting and digesting and healing and repairing. And that is the most fundamental problem that every chronic disease is just blossoming and flourishing out of. We are in sympathetic overdrive. And so from tonight's panel, what we need to be able to take away as it's relating to our mind, our ability to heal, our ability to thrive, and truly, like Stephanie said, Dr. Stephanie, is, I apologize, Steph, we know each other so well, she's Stephanie, Dr. Stephanie, is that, you know, what we need to be able to take away is how we can begin to support ourselves to get out of this chronic stress and into a bit of more rest and digest and heal and repair. And the gel really plays an amazing piece in that puzzle. It's something that's been lacking until now. And even Brian, as you were just saying, you've been kind of going through this the last year as a parent, you know, there still is a lot of fear, a lot of misinformation around growth hormone, just as it's prescribed by doctors. And the way I try to explain this so that people can really simply understand what's happening, what makes the gel different, why is the gel not a cancer promoter versus if you go and get injections, it is. What's the real difference? Growth hormone, if you go to a doctor and get it, it's what's called hormone replacement therapy. It is replacing. The doctor looks and says your level should be here, but you're here. We're going to inject. We're going to give you the gap that's missing. We're going to bring you from here to here, just like that. Simply said, none of us are saying, well, why is it here instead of here? And what is the root cause? What is out of balance? Because the body is made and designed to function and heal and perform perfectly in the most divine way. Like it's supposed to be here. So if it's here, there's a reason. There's a reason. You know, there's a reason when we're stressed. There's a reason that it's going on. There's a reason that we overeat, that people feel like, and I wanted to bring this point up, I'm stressed and I'm a stress eater. Well, it's because your body's trying to turn into that rest and digest, trying to stop that sympathetic dominance. So the body will try to tell us what it needs, but we often don't listen. We keep plowing through and plowing through and plowing through. So we go, we get injections, it fills the gap, the body, there are pathways that are broken down, it can't properly metabolize and break down. So now we've got problems. We've got too much in the system, the body can't handle it, becomes overloaded, okay? That's hormone replacement. Hormone replacement isn't necessarily bad, but if the doctor isn't looking at the physiology as a whole and understanding some basic pathways of how the hormones convert from, you know, kind of inactive to active form, then we can really kind of cause congestion. That's the easiest way to think about it. So what's beautiful about the gel is because it's microdose, first and foremost, and because it's homeopathic, I like to refer to it, it's not hormone replacement, it's hormone signaling. And it's just enough to elicit the response in the body. We're not forcing the body. We're not trying to dominate the body, which is what happens with a lot of medications. We try to override, okay? We try to override what the system is naturally doing. So what's so beautiful about homeopathy is it's really working with the divine innate intelligence of the body. It's helping to bring the body back online. And specifically with all of this stress overload, the sympathetic dominance, and we're never getting to rest and digest, right? Which is where healing occurs. This gel is giving back support to those glands, to those metabolic pathways that are absolutely robbed. Like they're just completely dried out, you know, dried up. They're not working. We got nothing else to give. So why so many people are getting such amazing results is because their system is finally being given back some support that's been missing so that it can actually function the way that it was made and designed. And then we can get clear in our mindset. Then we can feel that energy. And then we can do the amazing things that Danielle is going to share with us that help us to like have that clarity and that presence and that power to want to go out and really create an amazing both physical health and financial health with this gel.
Wow. Well said. That was great. That was great. I mean, it's, I think that sometimes doctors, like anything else, when I did my real estate coaching, I was, so immersed in it, and I still am, that when I would coach new students and bring them on, I would forget that they didn't know step one. I would forget that what I take for granted, what I forgot yesterday, they haven't learned yet. And so for two doctors here to be able to explain this and break this down as well as you both just did, that's, for me, extremely helpful, because listen, I being in this business for a business, the better I understand my product, the better I understand why it's working. It's one thing to run around and say, I have mental clarity and this and that, and I'm energy throughout the day, and this is wonderful, but to know why. And that was a really, really good explanation. So thank you both for that. And we're definitely going to come back to you before we close this out. But let's flip over to Dr. Danielle. Doctor, in the sense that you work on people's minds, because let me tell you something. One thing that she's known for is her mindset. Specifically her mindset training. I was speaking to a brand new lady today, and she said, I came across this lady, Danielle, and I knew she was new because she didn't know your name was actually pronounced Danielle. And she said, I saw some of her trainings on mindset, and that woman is brilliant. I said, yeah, she's pretty damn good, So Danielle, let's talk about mindset. Let's talk about the gel and how it all relates for you and working with the monstrous and ever-growing organization that you've built so far.
Well, first of all, yes, I'm not a physician. However, these ladies are brilliant, and I feel very honored to be on this panel tonight. So I want to thank you guys. I've never met Stephanie or Melissa prior to today, and to hear them both speak, I think what I can bring to the table tonight that I think really just from a lay person's point of view, I want you all to understand. I've been on this gel since December 22nd of 2017. The words that come to mind for me tonight after listening, I just, I'm going to be real and raw. That's what I do best. I believe in being authentic and real and not wearing a mask. I love helping people overcome. I believe in being an overcomer and speaking victory out. And I believe it also really, truly, I studied Dr. Caroline Leaf. I don't know if you ladies know her, but Stephanie, you remind me so much of what you're speaking about is Dr. Caroline Leaf's, what she teaches about neuroplasticity and how you can regrow damaged brain cells. You can take someone with brain damage and repair their brain cells and make new neural pathways. It's changed my life to learn the science behind rebuilding my mind. So you're looking at a 44 almost year-old female who started life out pretty traumatically. My real dad says that while I was in the womb, I experienced a lot of violence. And I can remember as a young child experiencing a lot of violence around me, and then verbal abuse, and then a lot of, verbal, mental, and then there was some physical abuse in our household. And I can tell you that as I've gotten older and I've learned that trauma is carried at a cellular level, that these things stay in your cells. When I, was 15 going on 16, I was raped, and I can speak about it now with no emotion, and I'm fully healed from it. But I was not date raped. I was plain old raped. And it took me years to tell anyone about it. I carried that fear and that trauma with me. Gosh, I still carry a little bit. I have moments where I don't feel safe, but that's just normal, right? I mean, it's normal. But I have to say, in regards to the gel and what has happened to me, I look back at when I was in my 20s and I was diagnosed with adrenal fatigue and then adrenal failure. Then I was having this fatigue, and then I was having these endocrine issues and thyroid. My whole system was out of whack. And I couldn't understand, as a young, healthy girl who didn't smoke, didn't do drugs, didn't really ever rebel, I excelled at school. School was my escape from hell. Why was my body feeling so beat up and tired? Why was my vitality going away? Why was my life force draining from me? And I learned that it was all of that trauma that was not healed, and I was not facing it, right? In order to heal something, you have to go through it. You can't go around it. So I was stuffing it down and, trying to be this tough chick who kept her defenses up and don't anyone get close because you're going to hurt me, you're going to abandon me, you're going to leave me anyway. That was my life. And then in my early 30s, I was really at a low point, and I met a woman who taught me that I had to renew my mind and forgive, and that I was repeating the trauma, even though the trauma wasn't happening to me anymore. And that's why my body was in disrepair. And I went to naturopaths, homeopaths, regular MDs, endocrinologists. They all said the same thing. You have to look at the root cause of why your adrenals are sputtering out. Why? If you're not a coffee drinker, you're not a smoker, what is it? Why you're revving so high? Why is your cortisol so high? Why can't you lose weight now when you never had a weight problem? It was all connected to what I was in here and what was in here. And then I get on the gel last year after having done a lot of work, and I was in early menopause. Again, my doctor says absolutely 100% she believes early menopause can be triggered by tons of trauma in your lifetime. So that made sense to me. Not that I was happy about it, but it made sense. And she said, we can fight back, you know, with this, this, and this. And I've raw juiced. I've done everything under the sun. And I get on the gel, and I kid you guys not, within my first 5 weeks, felt the life coming back into me. Now you can say that doesn't sound right. What do you really mean by that? I felt a calmness and a balance and a peace start to come over me. And I'm a girl who was like, I'll believe it when I see it. I wasn't like, you know, oh, this is amazing. I was like, let's see. You know, I'm that girl. You know, I'm Italian and Greek. You got to prove it to me 30 times over. So I'm on the gel. I'm down 6 pounds without trying, with thyroid issues, with not changing my diet, with nothing. Literally 6 pounds in my first 5 weeks. Sleeping deeply. Hadn't slept good in a long time because of the night sweats and all the perimenopausal stuff. Had been having repetitive headaches since I was a teenager, sometimes migraines, but I would say about 8 headaches a month minimum. All of my mental clarity and my balance was, by 60 days in, was different than it had been for years. And part of me was like, what else could it be? I tried to reason it away. And I can tell you now, 11 months in, I am full of vitality. And if you haven't had that in years, it is directly related to your hormonal balance. For me to be sitting here today and tell you that I wake up with energy is remarkable after being chronically fatigued. To say that my adrenals are running at a level they should, and that my blood work is coming back better than ever, is fully demonstrating that something different has happened for me using it. I'm not a physician, but like I said, I'm a normal woman who went from here to here in my health, from literally rubbing it on my skin twice a day, 5 days a week, didn't change a thing. Last but not least, to say that depression has chased me most of my life would be an understatement. And I've always fought back, and I never wanted it to take me down. This is the first time in my life where I feel such a balance in that area that I don't feel those dips. Again, the ladies, our doctors, can maybe give more insight on that, but I can't thank God enough for bringing it into my life, for Chris for calling me, and to you guys for giving some insight as to what's happening scientifically. But all I know is my life is renewed. My vitality is back. My husband, my children say I'm a new woman. My mom can't believe it. By the way, my clothes are starting to literally fall off, that I have to get new clothes because I'm back to working out. I had so much mental fatigue, not just physical fatigue, that I didn't want to be in the gym anymore. And so after being sedentary for 3.5 years, I'm back lifting weights again and doing HIIT training and feeling good about myself and knowing that nothing can stop me. If my body's in balance and I take care of myself, the gel is just that catalyst to my body doing what I can't do for it with the nutrition and with the exercise and staying hydrated. And, you know, saying my declarations and going to church and doing everything I can do. It's kind of the gap. It's filling that gap for me. So that's it. It's been amazing.
Wow. That's incredible, Danielle. And first, thank you for coming on. I know you've been sick the last few days and you've been dealing with something with your voice, and also, you know, you made it. You did great. So thank you so much for that. And you know, it really brings things full circle, guys, when you think about it. So many people have this misconception when they hear HGH, they think steroids, when they think, oh, well, that's something to become some huge bodybuilder or get myself a six pack. Absolutely not. I mean, yeah, could you get lean enough to see visible abs? Absolutely. But when you're hearing these things, when you're hearing how it's helping people with their mind, with their mindset, that leads to other things. Like Danielle just said, I mean, when your mind is right, when your mood is right, when you're just feeling like a better human being, when you have energy, when you're not suffering from that adrenal fatigue anymore, you tend to become a better mother. You tend to become a better, more engaged father. You actually want to get back in the gym. You're going to perform better at whatever it is you now do full time in your career. So this whole synergistic approach to what we have, it's such an amazing product. That's why it's going viral. That's why it contains the business opportunity within it, because it's not just some snake oil. It's not just another protein powder. I've never done networking before, not for any other reason other than primarily I never saw a product that really wowed me. It's a great protein, sure. Hey, how excited can you get about protein or electrical service or you know what I'm saying? But when you have a product that is literally physically changing people's lives, it's very easy to get passionate about it. It's very easy to become convicted about it. And when you're speaking with other people, that comes through and they want to be a part of that. I mean, ask yourself, who do you know over the age of 30 that doesn't want to look better and feel better and perform better? There's not one person, if they're honest. There's not one person. And so now to hear a little bit more from doctors on why that's working and hear Danielle's testimony, who's just such a wonderful leader of people, I think, you know, let's flip back. And I know, guys, we only have about 5 minutes left for our recording. We want to keep this to 45 minutes. But I'd love to flip back, you know, any final thoughts or anything you'd like to share, you know, Dr. Peterson or Dr. Stephanie and
Super fast.
Yeah.
You can see stuff.
Yeah.
We're both like, oh,
She
yeah.
raised her hand, I saw you.
We can talk forever. We love this stuff so much. But there's one simple thing I want to say. And first of all, Danielle, I've loved you, I've respected you since I've come into this. You've helped me learn how to be a network marketer, so thank you. But now as a human being, I have even, and as a professional person, I have even more love, admiration, and respect for you. So thank you for sharing your personal journey. I know that's helping so many people. And often it is our own journey that helps to inspire so many others. So continue being everything you are. Thank you so much. And, you know, Brian, you just mentioned something about it, like anybody over 30, there's something out there. So I'm an epigenetic human performance success coach. Epigenetics, very simply, is how I would describe the science of lifestyle. Okay, it's how our external environment impacts our internal environment, that bathes our cells, that signals our DNA, okay, so our human blueprint, our genetic strengths and weaknesses, to either turn on, turn off, turn up, turn down. And it all begins with perception. So let's imagine for just a moment, Danelle has sat here tonight and told us, I mean, since she was young, right, and in her 20s, y'all, she's in her 40s, so for over 20 years, if you've never been diagnosed with adrenal fatigue or adrenal failure, it is this constant state of feeling tired and then exhausted and brain fog. So some of us think that's a natural sign of aging. It is not. You put cells in a petri dish, you know that given the right environment, our cells are programmed to live it's on and on and on and on. Like literally we can go eternally. When we start to take out right conditions, we start to shorten the shelf life of the reproductive cycle of the cell. So we're living in toxic environments, mentally, emotionally, physically, environmentally. But now imagine a world, a place where we can start with ourselves. We can start to repair, we can start to replenish, we can start to give back to our bodies what's been missing, whether it's by the physical stress, the chemical environmental from the McDonald's and the processed foods and all the crap that we don't even know that's being given to us, or if it is the mental emotional from trauma, okay, PTSD, things that like Danelle went through, like so many of us have trauma that we've lived through. All of those impact our health and our life. And when we can begin to perceive our world differently, the very fabric of our genetic expression begins to change. What is truly possible, our limited becomes limitless. And I love, Brian, how you opened it up with talking about the movie Limitless. I'm like, that's what this is all about. Like, gang, it is totally within our abilities to express our greatest self, our greatest health, our greatest well-being. And it truly can start with this gel. There is no panacea. Please, let me tell you, there's no one thing that fixes everything. But the reason that this gel is so powerful is because so many people are so chronically stressed and they don't even know the ways in which they're stressed. And so their systems are on overdrive and there's nothing coming in to replenish, to restore, and to repair. This gel is the first thing that's doing that. And so this has been fantastic. Dr. Stephanie, I know you've got a few things, so I'm gonna zip it and send it over to you, girl.
You know, I don't even know where to start. I think Melissa and I could probably talk for hours, Danielle, on this. So thank you again for your vulnerability and the power that was expressed through that, because those are the stories, not to diminish what Danielle said, but that is what I hear over and over and over and over and over again with this product. That's why it is blowing my mind. I offer very comprehensive multi-approach, therapies in my practice that take people through months of changing everything, very similar to what Dr. Peterson does. We're looking at changing everything about their environment, everything about what's going into their system. And the fact that I'm getting some of those same results with people that are on this gel for a few days sometimes, I can't even keep up with it, with the amount of texts and messages and emails I'm getting from people who are on the edge. I deal with psychological brokenness in my practice all day, every day. Her story is everything I hear constantly. And the amount of people feeling this way of broken and not knowing how to do it, it's very hard to push yourself into a positive mindset thinking when your brain is in a disorganized, chaotic, and frenetic state. My job is to bring it into symphony, into harmony, into organization. The brain equals behavior. If we get the brain balanced and organized and beautiful and harmonious and it creating a magical symphony, all of your thoughts and behavior then follow very easily. And this gel, because of what it's doing, because of the genius within it, within the innate intelligence that's designed to help our bodies fight against the very abnormal physiological world we live in. The world we're all living, the fact that I'm sitting here on a computer with all these artificial lights at a Zoom with you guys being bombarded with electromagnetic frequencies, with but it's a lot of poison that's coming in at me. Let's just say that. I'm being aged constantly right now. This is nothing that somebody 1 million years ago ever had to experience. I guarantee you, if I measured the human growth hormone, the IGF-1 levels of somebody 1 million years ago at 30, 40, 50 years old, they're going to completely outrank anybody today. We are under way too much stress all the time. There should not be a saber-toothed tiger in my dining room ready to kill me every second of the day. But that is what my body is going through, what Dr. Melissa had said. So what Danielle went through with the real trauma, which we've all had, plus living in this modern world, technological driven, traffic, cars, flying in airplanes, just this really hard stuff, which I love. I love a computer. I love that I can talk to you guys. There's genius in Zoom. There's genius in the internet, right? There's genius in air conditioning and heat because I'm cold, right? So, but to counteract the rise in technology, the way we have changed our environment so drastically to not be in tune with nature, to have something that brings nature back to us with these whole leaf herbs, with these glandulars that we used to eat organ meat all the time, you guys. When humans killed an animal, we ate the glands raw. Who's doing that now? How much brain have you eaten today? Because I sure didn't, right? So what she went through is what people are going through so much, and I can't even explain how we're dealing with hormones. Just to recap, just so people who don't understand anatomy and physiology, my brain is inside here. We've been talking about a lot of glands. Glands make hormones. They are your hormone system, your endocrine system. The biggest, baddest, best hormones you have, your master hormones that are running the whole show, are called your hypothalamus, your pituitary. Another one is your pineal gland. You know where those sit? They sit right inside your brain. That's how important they are. And that's what this gel is going right after addressing and right after signaling and making it turn itself back in time to act like you're 20 years old again and kind of maybe in the Paleolithic era. I want patients to do a lot of other things and just rub on some gel. I want them to start to control their environment and do good things. But when they start to feel good, like Danielle did, they can go into the gym. I can't take somebody laying in bed suicidal and say, why don't you just go exercise? Why don't you just say positive, mantras in the mirror. That's not going to cut it, guys. You start to organize their brain, you start to organize their hormonal chemistry. Suddenly things are working the way they're supposed to, and it's really easy to nudge them on that path to start watching Danielle's videos and hearing what she's saying and finally be able to follow along without feeling like they're dragging a 150-pound, thing of concrete behind them and can't figure out how they're going to do it and feeling hopeless. I got to tell you, the gel has brought hope to people that I never thought. I've reached more people with this, because they aren't in my practice. I can't even believe it. So that's how much I love it. Now I guess I'll stop there.
I love you.
For full disclosure, I do eat organ meat. When I kill a deer, I always eat the heart and the liver. Now it's not raw. I do cook it. Okay, I just
That's okay. Dude, send me some deer.
Yeah, it's that time of year too. So
I don't hunt, but I want to eat it.
Just lost half our audience because I said that. But anyway, we're done anyways. But this was incredible. I do want to give Danielle one last deal. Any final thoughts? I know you had to get your voice back, but I don't want to share.
Yeah, my final thought is if Dr. Stephanie said it perfectly. If I had to articulate it, it was me starting to feel better just from doing the twice a day, 5 days a week, that it gave me the momentum necessary to not be sleeping all day, to not feel that imbalance, to not feel jittery, to not feel the things I was feeling that she explained. For me, I considered I felt like I had this heavy weight on my chest for decades. And yeah, getting rid of, you get the forgiveness part and you change your mind and all that, but there was something in my chemistry that I could not put a finger on. And I was always the girl who said, I'm not going on meds, I'm not going on meds. And my mom would be like, take Lexapro, take this, take that. My mom was like a pharmacist, we're all on it. Everyone needs it. Everyone in this world needs, this and that. And I was always the girl who stayed away from big pharma until it's necessary. Quite frankly, I'm on antibiotics right now. I needed it. I was sick for 7 days and spiked a fever and needed it. Fine. But I'm an advocate of, let me take the herbal, supplements. Let me go to the balancing my pH and doing all the things necessary. I've always been that girl. So it was funny that she just said it, and I'll leave you guys with this. You've got to let the gel do what you can't do. It's the catalyst to you getting that momentum in your physical and emotional balance, health-wise, hormonally, because guys, now that I'm living hormonally balanced, it's way better on this side of the tracks than it was on the other. It's the wind not coming at me, but it's the wind at my back now. And when people ask me how I feel on the gel, I no longer feel like my best days are behind me. I actually have hope that I'll be in the best shape of my life by the age of 45. I know I will be. I know that my best years and my vitality, it's limitless now because I have the balance. And on top of that, it's spawning me to do the things, the walking, the running, the health events that I want to go to. I'm actually excited to get out of bed. So yes, she's right. It's easy to say, oh, just go take a pill, no, that doesn't work. You have to have this, what would you ladies call it? It's this whole, it's not one thing.
Well, there's multiple things that you're saying, but a big thing that you're saying, and I'm going to say it in a way maybe people can understand. So from a neurotransmitter level, losing breeds losing and winning breeds winning. Right? So a snowball effect is a snowball effect. When you start going downhill, you start going downhill.
Yeah.
Going uphill, you start going uphill. There's a biochemical reason for that. You start releasing more dopamine. By the way, growth hormone makes more dopamine.
Yes.
So
and I feel that
dopamine means I'm winning. That means I'm a winner. And it also means I can think clearly and make good decisions and have proper executive function and good emotional control and impulse control. So we have to help our patients. What we do, we have to nudge them into winning. My job is to give them successes, and then winning breeds winning.
Yes.
The point, you can only fall down so many damn times before you need to start winning again. And then again, and you win again, and you win again. And then I can be like, you ready for HIIT? You ready for CrossFit? What are you ready for now? So challenge our patients, but I can't ask them to do something if I know they're going to fail. If I asked you when you were in your pits of despair to do stuff that I knew you couldn't do, I'd never get you better. It was one way, and a powerful way that was easy for you to do, very compliant, didn't require a lot of money, didn't require a lot of visits, didn't require painful injections or anything else, to get your body ready to say, You're about girl, and then you took off with it. What people
And there lies the momentum. It gave me the kind of momentum necessary to win my life back. And now I feel unstoppable at 44. And guys, you got to I will say this, you have to give it time. Everybody's body chemistry is different. Your DNA is different. The amount of things you've done to beat up your body over the years are different. So it may not be in week 1, it may be in week 7, but at some point when that switch flips and the gel starts to really do what it's intended to do, you are going to get back with the person who invited you and put you on the gel and say to them, I now know what you meant. So stay the course. I've seen people take up to 10 weeks for them to feel good. Me, I was night 3. I was like, hallelujah, something's going on. And by day 7, no nap. Day 8, no nap. Day 9, no nap. And now I'm the girl who gets up and, does things that I did in my 20s. So thank you for having me, guys. I cannot even believe what an amazing night this was. I just realized this is my purpose in life. If we can take this product to the world and teach people from the scientific end, but also just as lay people, what it does for us and how it's enhanced our life, we can't fail. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Brian.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. This was incredible. Mwah. I love you all. You're amazing.
Guys, every one of you, this was so incredible. We had other people, we were trying to, me and Lisa, line something up and talk about the brain and the mind. And, a lot of us are traveling. And as it turned out, we had 3 women. And I think that's perfect because the women are the driving force in this business. Men are doing great things. And I don't know if because of the anti-aging, the whole fountain of youth thing, I don't know why, but after this call, I do know why. And it makes a lot more sense. Women are the ones dealing with their families, having careers, the changes in life have to go through these hormonal shifts. So if there's a product, that there's something that can actually make them feel better, that's why women are flocking to this. And it's helping them. And as people heard tonight, one of the things people always say is, what do they want in life? Well, I want this, I want that. But if you really, really focus it down, people want one thing, and that's to be happy. But if you really continue to drill from there, what does that mean? What does happiness look like? They want to feel good. Everything's about a feeling. And we have a product that is helping people feel better. Now you add the business opportunity to increase the income, and you take the stress away because the credit cards are paid off, and the whether it's the preschool or the college, an extra income source for helping people. And I don't know what you want to call it, God, karma, call it whatever you want, the law of the universe. But you know what? If you have an opportunity to help people feel better, perform better, and get paid for doing that, that's why I'm so committed and I'm all in on this business. And I know that you guys all feel the same way. I want to turn it back over to Lisa, but Lisa's also another very powerful woman. You didn't say much tonight, but this is her show. And, thank you for asking me to host this and run it. I think this is one of the best calls we've ever done. And thank you so much, to our 3 guests tonight. This is your show, Lisa. So I'm going to turn it over to you. And any final thoughts from you?
What is there to add? Y'all are amazing. And Brian, everybody, thank you for hosting. This has been an absolute joy. I know that, I can see from the comments that everybody so appreciated what I can't even re-echo what you 3 and 4, Brian, obviously you 2 did an incredible job hosting, but Danielle, you and your heart and your strength, your willingness to bare your soul does inspire so many. It certainly, I'm sitting just, we've always known that you're a powerful, strong leader, but sort of getting that whole backstory is I think it opens the door for others to come forth and release shame and fear. You blazon that path, that scary path, and open that door for so many. And I just want to honor you for that. And Melissa and Stephanie, you are amazing humans with incredible knowledge who have already begun the process of helping so many. And I just am so excited about what the future brings on this front. So I know we'll have other opportunities to talk and to educate in different venues. You guys just finished an event where you were working with 200 doctors, educating from stage, 200 doctors who are now going to start carrying this message forward to their patients and to other doctors. So it's an exciting time. And thank you all again for being here. God bless. Love you all.